What is up? What is happening? Welcome to another episode of Respect the Court. And ladies and gentlemen, round 2 semifinals is well underway, and has it not been exciting? Are you not entertained? I am entertained. This has been quite the second round start. This has been wild. I haven't seen anything like this in quite a while in the second round, and it is amazing. We have out in the West a 6th and 7th seed battling. I don't even remember the last time that happened, but it's fun to see. And even with the banged up Warriors still able to pull out a gutsy win, even at one point leading by 23-24. That was fun to watch. That was great. Minnesota just didn't have the energy. A little surprised considering how much rest they've had. But sometimes they do say too much rest is a bad thing in the playoffs. And, it looks like it hurt them. But anyway, I thought it was a valiant effort by the Warriors. And, I'm sure Minnesota will bounce back. And we'll see what happens. But what I really want to talk about today, and I can't say that it has irked me, but as a basketball fan, I am puzzled. Now, I've watched basketball for a long time. I've been watching basketball since 1989, 90, 91, somewhere around that time frame. I don't remember because, I was a kid and you're not really paying attention, but you're watching, right? And, mental mistakes happen, meltdowns happen, but I have not seen in 3 different games such terrible fourth quarter execution to win a game. You're up by 20, 14, 13. You're up double digits. And the game is pretty much won. Or even if you were up a solid 7 points, as in the case with the Pacers and the Cavaliers, with less than a minute to go. That should be a victory. That should be no question. If your team has mental resolve, if your team knows how to manage the clock, make the right plays, that's a win. That's a win. But let's start with Denver and OKC. Some of it you can attribute to youth and just not making the right plays, right? I mean, they were fouling at some points in the fourth quarter with them having the lead. I didn't understand that. What exactly are we doing? You have the lead. Your objective at this point is to just run out the clock and make Denver rattled. Make them make the costly turnovers. Make them get out of their rhythm. But it was the exact opposite. The exact opposite. And I couldn't understand it. Like, who on the floor was going to be the team leader, the team floor leader, and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Okay, coach is going to lay out and draw out a plan. Great. But you need to recognize situations. And one thing I was shocked about that no one talked about in the media was that, and it happens. Things like this happen. Unless the NBA changed the rule for some reason. But Alex Caruso was inbounding. And unfortunately, he got it to Chet. I'm sure he wanted to get it to SGA. But at one point, Nikola Jokic turns his back on him. Remember, you have the lead. He's giving you an opportunity to inbound the ball and for you to grab it back. I've seen it numerous times. Hit the ball off the person's back. Grab the ball. They have to foul you. Because you have the ball. You're a better I would assume a better free throw shooter than Chet Holmgren. Under that kind of pressure, I would never put that young guy under that kind of pressure. You can tell he wasn't ready for that. So for me, execution, basketball IQ, they gave you so many outs. I could not understand it for the life of me. And then after the 2 missed free throws, the horrible transition defense. Like, you know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go for a 3. They're not going to the cup. Everyone should have been guarding the 3-point area with like money on the line, but that didn't happen. I was shocked. Russ brings it down. You all saw that. Russ brought it down. Cleverly passed it out to Aaron Gordon, who seals the game with the 3-point shot. Like, terrible execution. Like, how do you, with a good amount of a lead left, let it evaporate like that? Just very basic mistakes, especially at this level. And I attribute it to this being, one, a youngish team, maybe too excited, not understanding how to execute. But here's the thing. This is not the first time they've been here. They were the number 1 seed last season. So it just comes down to poor execution. Simple as that. Poor execution, bad team IQ. It happens. But moving on to the next team, you had the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Boston, once again, was full control of a game. Full control. And at some point, I don't understand this with teams that allow a team to slowly get back into a game by essentially handing them the game. Right. I believe at one point, the New York Knicks, their bigs, I think Karl Anthony Towns, I forget who else was also in foul trouble. But this is in the fourth. At some point, you have to change your game plan. You notice the Knicks are slowly chipping away at this lead. It's dropping from 20 to 17, 13, 11, 10, 9. Please adjust. Please adjust. You should have enough basketball experience to realize, okay, what we're doing isn't working. Our defensive rotation isn't working. Let's try something different. Maybe, in the fourth quarter, let's not have all 20 of our shots be 3-point shots. Are you kidding me? That's what we're doing now? So you mean to tell me 20 shots? You had 20 shots. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. You had 20 shots in the fourth quarter. And of those 20 shots, 19 of them were 3-point attempts. What are you doing? Their big man is in foul trouble. Attack the basket. Put some pressure on the inside. Because if you do that, that forces the defense to have to collapse into the paint, right? These are pros now. They should know this. It forces the defense to collapse into the paint. And you can do one of two things. You can go for the and one or do the other thing, which I absolutely hate. You can kick out for a 3 or maybe a mid-range shot. But force the defense to do something. Because at this point, when you do that, if you're just hoisting up a bunch of threes, one, you're letting the defense rest, number one. Two, we know you're going to do the same thing. So all we're going to do is either switch to a zone or just – actually, no, you don't even have to switch to a zone. We'll just collapse into the paint, let you shoot your threes, and then we're off to the races, pushing the pace. As a fan and as someone who studies basketball, it just doesn't make sense. Is it the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result? Isn't that insanity, right? Isn't that the definition of insanity? I'm sure what they were doing, Boston Celtics, was quite insane. You can't keep shooting threes and not adjust your game plan at some point. I think Charles Barkley said it at one point. It's like, what's wrong with these teams? Don't you guys have a plan B? Adjust. It's a game within a game. You have to be smarter than this. Your talent alone is not going to get you a championship. I mean, sometimes it can. Let's be honest. Sometimes it can. But most times it won't, because you have to have some smarts. You have to have an offensive awareness, some defensive awareness. You need to look at what the game presents to you and take advantage of it. And clearly Boston did not do that. So you got to give the New York Knicks credit for recognizing and taking advantage of that weakness, and I'm not even going to say steal a game. They didn't steal that game. They gave it away. Boston Celtics gave that game away. But yeah, game 2 should be fun to watch. I'm excited. And, great job on Jalen Brunson just going in, putting that team on his back and getting the win. And the last team I want to talk about, which has been quite the shock so far in the opening round, is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are playing phenomenal basketball. Absolutely phenomenal basketball. Once again, we had another team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, up by 20 at one point. Maybe more. I don't quite remember. And you got to stick with the game plan that got you the lead and adjust accordingly when things change. And the thing that changed was, Ty Jerome was not giving you anything. 1 of 14. That's unacceptable. You can't do that. You got to figure out ways to score. Or if you're not scoring, you got to figure out ways to either rebound, defend better, switch on the post, something. 1 of 14. That's rough. That's rough. Donovan Mitchell resorted to playing hero ball like he was back in the Utah Jazz era. That's not going to get it done. We've seen it too many times where one guy goes off for 35, 40, 45, 50 points, but the team loses. Because you're so dependent on this one person to generate all the offense that everyone else just stands around watching. No one else is doing anything. Get back to the ball movement that you guys were known for throughout the regular season. Get Jared Allen more involved. Now, I didn't completely watch the game. Maybe he was in foul trouble, but you got to run some sets for him to get him going again. I know Evan Mobley is out. I know Darius Garland is out. I know there's another player out, but these are the things you practice for in case someone's out. The next person has to come up. Now, are they going to be as talented? No. But you run your sets the way that you know how. You don't just fall apart and start going into hero ball mode. And the hero ball mode was just to keep the Pacers at bay. Like, you score 48 points and still lose a game you should have won? Unacceptable. And again, poor execution towards the end. You guys are up by 7. You're up by 7 with less than a minute to go. All you need to do is block out, secure the rebound. Don't rush anything. At this point, remember, they're the ones that are going to be the aggressive ones. Hold the ball. Get your fouls. Take trips to the free throw line. And I'm going to say this. It has to be said. Again, just bad decision making. When I was a kid, my coach always taught us when the opposing team is shooting free throws, what do? You block out the shooter. You can look at all the replays. That was some terrible blocking out. You can see everyone just looking at the ball. Bodies were barely on bodies. Like, you understand the game is on the line. Tyrese Halliburton should have never gotten his own rebound. Are you kidding? What are you doing? That's box out 101. The shooter is never supposed to get their own ball on a free throw attempt. That's insane. I couldn't believe I saw that. Wow. So far, all the top seeds aren't doing what they're supposed to do right now. Cleveland has been a shock. Boston is just, I feel like they're just meandering along, and they're just trying to coast their way back into the finals. You can't do that. That's not how it works. Nope. And I believe with the Thunder, I can't call it inexperience because they have been here before, somewhat. They were a number 1 seed before, and you think you would have learned from this, but games happen, weird things happen in games, and let's see. Hopefully they'll make the adjustments that they need to make. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen for these next few games. This has been fun to watch. This has been fun to dissect and go over. And yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So kids, block out. Block out. Block out. Use time management. Take your time when you have a lead as you get into the fourth quarter. At this point, all you need to do, of course, I say this like I'm an NBA player. I've never been an NBA player, but I played enough ball to at least understand the mechanics of it all. And do the little things do matter. They really do. Because if you don't, it catches up to you. Adjusting your offense, blocking out, understanding clock management, all of these things. Very important. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.